How do you think the world would react if a major political leader, like Trump, the Queen, or Kim Jong-un, died of COVID-19? Well, Trudeau's wife, from Canada, has been diagnosed, and now they are saying that Trump and Pence were exposed. This dude probably shook hands with Rudy Gobert this week too, with how many people has come in contact with. They're now saying that Rudy Gobert French kissed him. A lot of people, good people, are telling me they played patty cake with each other. The cabinet in Iran count? Not really, since the real power lies with the Ayatollah and his team of surly beard wizards. Aren't some of said beard wizards sick? The Ayatollah is a cleric. He just needs to prepare revivify. But if the GM downs the cleric first. Uh-oh. A lot of people, I think, would be shocked if the Queen died. That lady has survived some shit. But knowing the royal family, they probably got her on lockdown. I think Prince Phil's far more at risk. The man looks like has been at death's door for as long as anyone can remember. The conspiracy that Hes actually a corpse, and that the royal family is trying to convince the public that Hes actually still alive is my absolute favorite conspiracy. Weekend at Phillips. I think Scotland Yard would have a few questions for Prince Charles. Are you asserting that he waited until she was 93 and he was 71 to finally off her? Is he the laziest usurper ever? I actually think Liz is waiting him out. You're not alone. She's done harder shit. That wasn't a shit. She was giving birth to Andrew. Easy mistake to make though. Like 70% of these comments are just yay, we are pretty sure the Queen is immortal at this point. Yes. But I'm pretty sure the Queen is immortal at this point. It. Thanks for the silver lol. Didn't know people would think this was actually funny. Lizard people are immune. Shh, like the Keith Richards of royalty. For sure we would run out of toilet paper. Get a bidet. You say bidet. I say garden hose run under the door and duct tape to the toilet det. I actually have one of those detachable shower ones at my current place, so I'm good for the next few months. Man's got wireless water, WTF. Memes. This is the truth for any major world event. Memes will always be made about it. Nowadays the memes are better source of information than news reports. Just that we have to decode the information hidden in them. I feel like a lot of news I get these days are from memes. I'll see one and Google what it's referencing to read the whole story. But most people just stop at the meme, which is frustrating because it's usually totally biased and not even a fraction of the actual story. Most developed countries have protocols to replace a fallen leader. I think people would be shocked if Trump died, for example, because we haven't seen a president die in office since JFK. But for the most part, things would be business as usual. In less developed countries, a fallen leader could leave a power vacuum that could potentially lead to civil war. Pence, etc., etc. Corona would die of the Queen more likely. Corona is Latin for the crown. It all makes sense now. Dun. Also in Spanish, same in Russian, and pretty similar in Lithuanian. Well, we all know the Queen wouldn't die because of the whole immortality thing, but I wouldn't imagine much changing. I would expect many leaders to want the next in line to be very similar to them in ideas and experience. I feel now may not be the time to tempt fate. Someone tag the guy who jinxed it with Hawking. That was a girl, FYIU/always bored. Also there is a whole sub for this r/Khaled Reddit. Oh hey, tomorrow or today, depending on where one lives, is the anniversary of the day Stephen Hawking's death was set into motion. If Trump were diagnosed, I bet it would not be released publicly. Edit. Wow, thanks everyone. And the Platty. This is my first post to blow up. Been on Reddit for years, but just had to Google how awarding works, haha. For real though, the big T won't wanna show any sign of weakness. And then his followers after the fact would be like, the Dems had to generate a biotoxin to take out our man. Stay safe out there folks, except his administration leaks like the sky in the Pacific Northwest. I know this isn't what you meant, and it was honestly a solid joke, but the reason the US Navy docks its nuclear subs in the PNW is because the extended cloud cover makes it nearly impossible to spy on from the air, making it one of the most secure places in the country in terms of leaks. This was not the thread I expected to learn something like that. Thank you. And that's why Akron was chosen as a production city. There is so much cloud coverage. Someone like Trump, even if he is old, has access to the best medical care in the world. If he dies, even with the best medical care in the world, I think that's a real oh shit moment for people. Markets are on fire, and I can't find toilet paper. As things are now, a clear sign that this can kill even those with the best possible care would be an economic disaster. Government would continue to function better, I'd argue, but they'd have a serious crisis on their hands. Much worse than this. I tend to agree with this. Regardless of how anyone feels about the three, I think it would exponentially crank the panic level up for exactly the reasons you listed. It is speculative on my part, but not hard to believe Trump and the Queen have access to the unrivaled best healthcare sourced from anywhere on the globe they can find it. Even if they are in high risk groups, it killing anyone at their level is going to make the panic of today look like a calm summer afternoon. The second I see Pence speaking on TV sitting down, I know it happened. Does he normally stand? Or what? When presidents give a very serious address to the nation, they are usually sitting at their desk. No matter what, man, the Queen ain't dying. She is one of the few people that could survive a nuclear apocalypse, along with Keith Richards. Same with Ozzy. To be fair, I would have included him too until very recently. Sadly, the poor fella's got massive health issues. Nevertheless, I hope he defies me many more moons. Wait, Ozzy Osbourne got sick? I have been surprised the dude was alive for years. What's he got? If Trump dies of COVID-19, Alex Jones's head will explode from the sheer amount of conspiracy lunacy trying to escape his mind at once. There will absolutely be massive mainstream theorizing on whether the Democrats engineered coronavirus to kill Trump. Why hire a sniper when you can murder millions of people to reduce the impact we have on the planet and this slow down climate change? Checkmate, insert religion here. I doubt this will be good for climate change. A momentary lull is nothing in the greater scheme of things. What matters is what we go back to when the threat is over, and it seems likely oil usage will spike for economic reasons. The counter-argument would be that the people dying are the old ones preventing reform. Not in relevant numbers, I know. Pretty sure the Queen might be immortal. It's all the sacrifices. Or T. Saying long live the Queen adds 10 minutes to her life. This is fact. Thanks for the tip. Trump, easy. The US has a clearly defined line of succession. I think other leaders would be waiting to see how he acts. Queen, easy. The UK has a moderately clearly defined line of succession, except I don't remember who is and isn't up for the job, and I don't think primogeniture works the way it does in Crusader Kings. Kim, shit will get crazy and speculative. Queen, moderately clear. Seriously, other than an amendment in 2015 once again allowing descendants of Roman Catholics to inherit, the process has been unchanged since 1689. If it isn't clear by now, that's more on you than the process. It is the eldest born of the eldest child. If all of their children were to die or abdicate, it goes to the next eldest. It's that easy. Queen, Prince Charles, Prince William, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, Prince Louis, Prince Siriodit. Quick edit: as a couple of people have rightly pointed out, there was also the 2013 Act to allow any gender to inherit. The Succession to the Crown Act 2013, which came into force in 2015, in addition to the Catholic thing, also made the very important change from male preference to absolute primogeniture. They are just people. Everyone is replaceable. Sometime when you're feeling important, sometime when your ego's in bloom zone time, when you take it for granted you're the best qualified in the room, sometime when you feel that you're going well, leave an unfillable hole. Just follow these simple instructions and see how they humble your soul. Take a bucket and fill it with water. Put your hand in it up to the wrist. Pull it out, and the whole fat's remaining is a measure of how you'll be missed. You can splash all you wish when you enter. You may stir up the water galore. But stop and you'll find that in no time it looks quite the same as before. The moral of this quaint example is do just the best that you can. Be proud of yourself, but remember, there's no indispensable man. Indispensable man link. Appleseeds. org/indispenman_Saxon. HTM. For about 99% of us. In 100 years no one will be able to find the hole they dropped you in. If the Queen dies, the world goes into shock. If Trump dies, the country goes at each other's throats over something stupid and petty, I'm sure. If Kim dies, peace with Korea could be possible in our time. If Putin dies, most people would probably be happy until someone equally corrupt takes over. What makes you think Kim dying makes peace possible? If anything, he's a bit more sensible than his predecessor. See, meeting with South Korean president. There's nothing saying his successor wouldn't be more insane. Well, Trump might already, since he was in contact with someone who tested positive, so it's possible we could find out soon. No, you'll never know. Even if he has it, we'll know if he dies. It would just be too suspicious of a situation to not infer, but it's doubtful he'd die. Knowing how much the GOP is leaning on Trump, I'd half expect the party to pull a weekend at Bernie's with him for as long as possible. I'm starting to wonder whether anyone would notice he'd died. The Queen is immune. She's like 600 years old and strong as hell. I imagine the Queen is like King Bumi in Avatar. If Bolsonaro dies, environmentalists around the world will rejoice. It wouldn't matter, he's backed by a coalition. Unless the coalition collapses, some other guy would get to be figurehead. Brazilian here, the coalition backing him basically tripped and fell and found Bolsonaro there. They lucked out. Without him, their next bet are probably his sons. But they are even dumber than he is and have a tenth the ability to convince people. The line of succession would put Vice President Hamilton Moro in charge, who is also a reserve army general. Having a military president would bother lots of Brazilians who lived through the military dictatorship. Although there's a chunk who claim the dictatorship was great, I don't think Bolsonaro himself can win the next election, if he even manages to participate, as the dumbest quit his own party and has been trying, and failing, to found a new one. And you can't run as independent in Brazil, let alone a rushed replacement. Also Brazilian here. If a president dies in the first 2 years of his/her mandate, the constitution calls for a new general election on the next 180, or is it 90, not sure right now, days with the vice president acting as the president. Until then, the line of succession would put Vice President Hamilton Moro in charge, who is also a reserve army general. But you know how these guys roll, so not so sure the constitution would be respected. If you're wondering, if the president dies on the last 2 years of the mandate, the VP stays in charge until the next presidential elections. The Queen, end of the world. This is false. I have it on good authority that the end of the world starts with an earthquake, birds and snakes, and aeroplanes. Lenny Bruce is not afraid. Justin Trudeau's wife just tested positive, so it's likely that he will be the first world leader to test for it. Also, Canada has the world's leading vaccine for it. Vaccine source: some researchers in Saskatchewan have isolated the virus. Haven't heard of a vaccine at all yet. There's another Reddit thread that says one news outlet is saying it further along than it actually is. Presumably they got a bit excited and exaggerated. Or clickbait. But are our reptilian oppressors immune to coronavirus? Shit, you right. I'm 99% sure the president of Brazil has coronavirus. Needless to say, expect some very polarizing responses. Update: yup, he was just confirmed positive. Maybe this is a stupid question, but how come news sources aren't talking about this? I'd like to think I listen to pretty global news sources. I'm from Canada, so it's not all American news, and haven't heard a single thing about this. That's a ridiculous question. Lizards can't get coronavirus. The Queen cannot die. It isn't done. If Trump died of COVID-19, these things would happen. r/politics, r/news, r/world news, r/political humor, and r/world politics would probably cheer, scream and shed tears of joy. My mother, a far left individual, would make a Facebook post about how tyranny has come to an end. My father, a far right individual, would liquidate his entire retirement account in 5 minutes. The White House would plan a closed-doors funeral for the president. A memorial will be held a few weeks later and would be televised. Mrs. Trump will shed some tears. CNN will say they are fake. Fox will say they are real. Celebrities who think their opinion matters will film themselves on social media taking a not so soft-spoken stance on the issue. Trump's legacy will be televised on Fox, and Trump's devastating wake will be televised on CNN. The day that Queen Elizabeth II dies for any reason will be a sad one. No matter what the circumstances, she is a person of substance. No matter what you think of the monarchy, she has taken her role seriously since the day she assumed it. After her passing, you will have King Charles. She's been like a stern grandmother for a few generations. What will it look like when she's gone? The British economy will crash. It'll be a week, possibly 2, of straight mourning. It would be remarkably ill-timed given the global financial market is currently in free fall. Ill-timed chuckle. Justin Trudeau's wife has it. I wouldn't be surprised if he does too. But he's only about 23, so should be fine. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.